Hi guys, and welcome to another Divi theme video. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Well, we've got another very simple Divi hover effect for you today. There's no coding involved in this, we're just using the onboard features of the Divi theme. We've got an image here. When we hover over it, it's going to kind of morph into another image with a call to action button. As you can see, there's our second image and it's got a nice little call to action button. When I take my mouse off, it's going to morph back into that first image. Really easy to do. So let's get started. First thing I want to do is enable our visual builder. Once enabled, let's go and add a module to wherever we want to do. I'll use this third column over here. I've got a section, the blue tab here, with a row with 3 columns in it. I'm going to go to column 3, just click to add a new module. I'm going to use a call to action purely so we can use the button on it. And if you're wondering why I'm just not using the button module, it's because of spacing. If I change the padding on a button module, it'll actually make the button fatter and taller. If I use the button on here, I can use spacing to position the button wherever I want within our little element here. Okay, so I'm going to put that in there. I don't want any text or title. Obviously, if you want to keep text and title in there to do this, you can do, just don't delete it. Put whatever you want your button to say in here. At the moment, there is no button, so put whatever you want to say. And I'm going to delete all the content. And again, if you want to keep some content in there, just leave this in here. Put your own content in, obviously. Okay, to get the button to actually show up, we need to give it a link. And here it is, button link. And if you want the module and the button to link in 2 different places, you can put a module link in down below. I'm just going to put a button link in. I've got no real link, so I'll just put a hashtag in there. And as mentioned many times before, for best practices, if you're linking to your own site, leave it in the same window. If you're linking off-site, put it in a new tab so that your site stays open. I'm not going to link this particular module, but like I say, if you want the module to take your visitors somewhere else rather than the different from the button link, put it in there, or you can put the same link in if you want them to take to the same place. Okay, now what we want to do next is decide sort of what sort of shape we want this for our image, whatever image you decide to put behind there. So to do that, we're going to use padding, and this is where it comes in that I mentioned earlier about using a call to action rather than a button module. So I'm going to go down to spacing. I want my button to be on the top. If you want it to be in the middle, sort of give it same top and bottom. If you want it to be in the bottom, obviously uncheck the chain there because that'll do both sides. I'm going to give it 200 on the top and just a little bit on the bottom, say 20. That way the button will stay on the bottom there for you. And that's the shape that our actual image is going to be that we're going to put in here. So let's put our image in here. I'm going to go back to content, background. I'm going to get rid of that color. You can leave it in there, but I'm going to get rid of it. And we'll add whatever background image you want. And I used these 2 last time. Let's flip them the other way around this time. Let's start with this one. And we'll fade to the other one. Okay, now that's fine, but you might want to decorate your button to have it not quite as intrusive as that. And do that simply by going to Design, Button, Use Custom Styles for Button. The reason mine's purple with a blue is that's the way I've got it set up in my theme customizer here every time I create a button. So I'm going to go Custom Styles. Button text size is fine. Text color is fine. Background, I want it to be something we can kind of see through. So I'm going to make it black. This will work with any color. Once you've got your color in there, just click on it. You see this right hand filter, opacity or see-throughness. Drag it down to where you want. I like mine to be able to see a bit of image behind. Not that there's a lot going on behind that image there. But you can do that with opacity there. I'm going to go down to button border color. I'm going to make that white. And if you wanted to change it on hover, when they hover on the button, simply go up, hit the little arrow here, and this is common to most Divi modules. little arrow, and you can click on it. It'll give you an option, desktop when your mouse is not on it, and another one for hover when your mouse is actually on it. For my button, I'm going to leave mine just like that. I'm happy for it just to be like that. Now if you want to make your button skinnier or fatter, you can add margin top and bottom to make it fatter. As you see, that makes that button fatter. But again, I'm happy for mine to be the size it is. Happy to have mine as it is. And if you want to make it wider, just add more left and right. Hit the chain, it'll do the opposite side. And again, I'm happy for mine to be default size. Okay. And the other way to make this skinnier, of course, is to make that text in there smaller. So if we would go up to button text size here, if you were to make it smaller, it's going to make that skinnier. As you can see, that's a little too skinny right there. We're back to where we were pretty much. But common to most Divi modules, if you do something and you mess it up and you don't like what you've done, simply select it, delete it. It'll go back to the default for you. Okay, so we've got our first little, actually this is the second image that we're going to morph to sorted here. So let's go in and make the magic happen. Now if you've watched my hover videos before now, you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to save this, and the image that we're going to see initially is actually residing in the column of the row here. So if we go back into the row, the green tab here, go into column 3, we got 1, 2's in the middle, this number 3 over here. I'm going to put a background image in. And again, I'm going to go over the image. You've got color, gradient, image, and video. I'm going to go over the image, select the image I want. And we're going to do it backwards this time, so I'll grab that one. Now, of course, we can't see it because we've got this on top here, but we know that's in the background there. Now let's do our sort of fake morph effect. It's just an image swap, really. Now what I'm going to do is this call to action module with the button and this image. I don't want to see it at first. I want to see that image that's underneath. So I'm going to go in there. I'm going to go to design. I'm going to go to filters. I'm going to go down to opacity or see-throughness. Hit the little arrow so we've got our desktop and hover state. For desktop, I don't want to see it at all when we're not hovering over it. That's the image I want to see. Then when we are hovering over it, I want it to be fully visible. So I want to see that. Now just to make it more interesting, that's going to work fine just switching from one to the other. I sort of did this crazy morph effect on this other one that took a bit of time, and I just set some filters. If you want to get artistic with it, this is how to do it. What I'm going to do is go up to my hue. I'm going to set desktop and hover states. So when we're not hovering over it, that's the one in the background, remember, in the column, and we're working with the one that's on the call to action. So I'm going to have the hue all the way up the other way. And then when we hover over it, I'm going to have it back to normal. And what this will do, it'll give it a sort of effect of changing colors and almost morphing. So I want to put 0 back in there when we hover. Saturation, I'm going to do a similar thing. On desktop version, I'm going to bring the saturation all the way up. And if you wanted to see what I'm actually doing here, let's go down and we'll flip to the desktop, and we'll make this visible temporarily, and we'll just undo this in a moment. So there's our image at the moment with 200%. We've flipped it there, the colors. And if we go to hue, as you can see on desktop, we've flipped it as well there. We really make it something crazy. And if you wanted to, you could do the same with an invert desktop. You get it, crazy things happening there. But you want to make sure on the hover state it goes back to normal, so when it comes in it'll be normal looking. Hover state, I want that to be 100. And hover state 0 degrees, that's great. Make sure that was up there. Yep, that's fine. Okay, and now we need to put our opacity back so we can see what we want to see. So desktop, we want to be 0. Hover, 100%. Fantastic. Now to make this sort of more interesting, I slow the transition time so you get to see those colors and things fade in. So I'm going to go to advanced, transitions, transition duration. I'm going to put a crazy time in there. I'm going to put 3 seconds or 3000 milliseconds. Don't want any delay, want it to happen as soon, or start happening as soon as they put their mouse on it. And I like to use ease in and ease out transition speed curve for this. They're all slightly different. This works for me in most hover situations. Have a look at these, they're subtly different and some will work better than others in certain situations. So check them out. Okay, so we should be good to go now. Let's save what we've got going on here. We'll save the page changes and exit the visual builder. Okay, well if we hover over this now, it should sort of slowly morphs in that second picture. We've got those kind of color changes going on as it morphs in and out. Like I say, it's not a real morph, it's a fade, but it's a slow fade that kind of changes color, gives it that slight morph effect. And we've got our call to action button there. So there you go guys, there's how to create simple image hover swap effect with call to action button. And that's quite effective. That's a nice little thing to have on your site. Really easy to do, like I say, no coding involved with a great Divi theme. So I hope you've enjoyed this today and found it useful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, ring the bell, comment, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Once again, this has been Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.